Yeah.
Logic apps, function, and service fabric are all examples of what model of compute within Azure.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So guys, can you please answer me? What is this out of the options?
Serverless mode.
Serverless. Yeah, perfect. Okay, you can read the questions only and answer is supposed to be given by the
yes.
people. Second question, please.
Your organization has implemented an Azure policy that restricts the type of virtual machine instance you can use. How can you create a virtual machine that is blocked by the policy?
Actually, some background noise is there. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, guys. So I'm going to repeat the question again. Your organization have implemented an Azure policy that restricts the type of the virtual machine instance you can use. How can you create a virtual machine that is blocked by the policy? Tell me, guys, what should be the answer?
The, the only way to remove the policy, create the resource and add the policy back.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Right, correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Third question, please. Dia.
Yeah. So, what is the name of group of services inside Azure that host the Apache Hadoop Big Data Analysis tools?
Yeah, guys. Any idea about it?
Azure
Yesterday we have.
Hadoop Services.
Hadoop services.
First
Hmm.
Azure
one.
services.
No, no. So this time the question has been order has been changed a little bit. That's why you are not able to see in this answer studies. It's simply asking what is the name of the group of the services inside the Azure that hosts the Apache Hadoop Big Data Analysis tools. It's saying analysis tool. The analysis tool will be always kind of HT Insight. Okay.
Excellent.
HT Insight is the one kind of a collection. It's an open source tool for the analysis purpose. Okay, so it's not only the Hadoop, but it's asking for the analysis. The analysis is going to be happen from the HD Insights, so one kind of free of cost service. Okay, open source service means which is available as part of the Apache Hadoop. Okay, okay, let's proceed. Fourth
So
question, please.
Lucky, what is Azure Hadoop services used for then?
Ajib,
The first
this
option.
yeah, this is related to the Hadoop kind of like requirement. Whenever you would like to work with the Hadoop, you would like to have the big data analysis kind of thing. Na? Means not big data only processing. That is going to come with the Hadoop, but if we are talking about the data analysis. Data analysis is going to be happen from the HT Insights only. It's a Azure specific service actually, after I can see. Okay. Which is
Okay.
providing as part of the Hadoop. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to explain you each and
Yeah.
everything. As of now, this we are focusing on the question paper. Yeah. Okay. Fourth question,
Hmm.
please.
Which of the following Azure feature is most likely to deliver the most immediate saving when it comes to reducing Azure cost?
Right, right. So yesterday we have seen the option. What should be the
Reserve
option?
instances. Azure
Yeah,
reserve
Reserved
instance.
instances. Yeah.
yeah, right, right. So there are instances we are going to use because that we can take as part of the subscription and they are going to give us near about 60% discount. Yeah. If we are reserving the instances for the virtual machine. Okay. Fifth question, please.
What service does Azure provide as an optional upgrade to protect against DDoS attacks?
Yeah, so yesterday I explained what do you mean by DDoS? That is that distributed denial of services. Actually, I explained as part of the second chapter. What do you mean by this? Like this kind of suppose you have one Flipkart website, and Flipkart website standard traffic is suppose 1 lakh customer per day. Okay, but some hackers are there which are creating some dummy traffic. What is the reason of creating the dummy traffic? They just would like to crash the server by showing some dummy traffic. Okay, so suppose website capacity maximum to deal with the 5 lakh customer, but from the hacking of from the dummy traffic, it is pushing more than that capacity. Okay, so like no more than 5 lakh, it is pushing for 10 lakh or 15 lakh. So it is going to be correct. So such kind of protection should be there. This is the standard protection. Answer will be the Azure DDoS protection standards. This kind of protection is being provided as part of the basic plan. There are five kind of plans are available as part of the Azure. Whatever the plan you are going to choose, that kind of level of SLA is going to be provided to you. Okay, that much immediate responses we are going to see from the Microsoft. So this is the very basic thing, and most of services, most of the standard protection kind of things you are going to get as part of the Azure. Okay, so there is no kind of basic protection. There is a standard protection only, which is going to be get as part of the basic plan. I will explain about the plans when it will be available. But as of now, you can understand this is the dummy traffic protection kind of service, which is by default free of cost provided by the Azure from basic plan onwards. Okay, even as part of free subscription also. You have me free subscription means we are using it, but you can see that free subscription nothing but the standard subscription. Okay, if we are going to get the enterprise subscription for taking 1 to 3 years of subscription, but we are not taking the major plans. So this is going to be provided as part of it. Yeah. So distributed denial of services. Got the visibility about it? Yeah. Any question? Anybody having any question here?
No.
Anybody would like to ask something here? Yeah. It's just a dummy traffic protection kind of stuff. It's a standard plan only. There is no basic plan for it. Yeah, which is coming as part of the basic plan. Azure, there are 5 plans. So this is the protection thing. Okay, protection service. You will see such kind of information as part of the third module. Okay, let's proceed. Question number 6, please.
Yeah, what hardware device is required to exist or be installed on your company network in order to set up a site-to-site VPN?
Yeah, guys. So you are accessing your company resources. Okay, how exactly you are accessing the company resources using
Virtual net VPN.
VPN.
Yeah, so anyhow, anyway, what is supposed to be installed to access the VPN? VPN gateway is supposed to be installed to access the VPN, right? I was explaining as part of your networking services in the module 2, where I told you like to access the VPN, VPN gateway is supposed to be installed. Gateway is what? The entry point from where you can access the VPN, right? So VPN gateway must be installed. So it's clear cut saying what hardware device is installed to exist or to be installed in our company network in order to set up the site-to-site VPN, that is the VPN gateway. Got the visibility? We are supposed to have the VPN installed, then only we can access the VPN gateway. Yeah, it's a VPN gateway is what? It's a private network only, right? To connect to your company resources. Yeah, so those resources are keeping in the virtual private cloud. So you are going to access them using the VPN gateway. Yeah. Okay. Now question number 7, please.
Why would someone prefer a consumption-based pricing model as opposed to a time-based pricing model?
Yeah, guys. So consumption-based pricing model, what is the reason behind that, right? If I told you the consumption-based model, you have heard about the execution-based consumption model. This is also applicable for the platform as a service, which is in terms of the Azure function. Okay. So how exactly it is going to help you out? So we can go through the option. You can save a lot of money if you don't use the resources often or opposed to having it available for use 24/7. It is always cheaper to pay for the consumption base than the pay by the hour. The pricing model is simpler and easier to understand. You can easily predict the cost of the service in the future. Tell me, guys, when will you go for
First,
consumption-based model instead of time-based model? Yeah.
the
So
first one.
first one only, right? Because you don't need the things for 24/7. Okay, it's not a real-time server which are up and running 24/7. It's like I'm supposed to have particular job scheduled, which is supposed to be run for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or maybe half an hour. And in that case, that job is going to generate some report and I'm going to send that report to the required person. So it is not to need to be run for 24/7. So I can simply for the consumption-based model. Got the visibility, guys? Whenever you don't need two servers up and running all the time, just you need the processing for the certain amount of time, for the certain amount of schedule. Okay. In that case, you can go for the uh, consumption based model. Got the visibility, guys? Yeah. So there are 3 pricing models are
Yeah.
there: pay per hour, pay per minute, and pay per consumption. So pay per hour is quite acceptable in terms of whenever you are going for the 24/7 kind of thing, which is virtual machines or maybe the containers. Okay. But whenever we are talking about some particular service which need to be executed, okay, at for certain amount of time only, not for 24/7, that kind of thing can be taken care using the consumption-based model, that is the Lambda functions, or we can say the Azure functions here, platform as a service. Okay, 8th question, please.
Yeah, true or false. You can create your own policies if built-in Azure policy is not sufficient to your needs. Yeah,
What should
true.
be the answer? True. Yeah, we are
True.
supposed to create our
True.
policy if existing policy is not sufficient. What do you mean by policy? Policy has a restrictions, okay, specific restriction, Suppose I don't want you to create a virtual machine in a specific region. That kind of policy I can have. I don't want you to create the virtual machine. I don't want you to access the region. I don't want you to access some particular databases, right? So if I would like to provide some restriction over the resources, okay, or over any kind of accessing, that kind of thing is going to come under the Azure policy. Yeah. And Azure policies are global. It is not specific to the what to say user, okay, or not specific to the region. So even your administrator also policy is going to be applied on top of you. Yeah, got the visibility. It's all about the you don't people don't want you to allow a particular thing. You don't understand the thing in terms of the accessibility. Accessibility is different and policy is different. Policy is common to all. Yeah, let's proceed. Okay. Question number 9, please.
Who's responsible for the security of your Azure storage account access keys?
Yeah, yesterday we seen this one. Yeah,
The first one, I am responsible.
Yeah.
we are responsible to secure our keys because if we are not securing our keys, then what is going to be happen? It is going to be exposed, right? So we are supposed to save it. It's our thing only. Yeah, question number 10, please.
What makes a system highly available?
Yeah, what makes the system highly available? So a system typically is designed to be resilient with no single point of failure. It is not possible to make highly available system. You must be minimum 2 virtual machine. And if the maintains 100% high availability. Tell me guys, what should be the answer? Any guess?
First one,
First one, why it should not be the fourth one? Any idea?
because it is 100% availability, it should be 99.99, I guess.
Yeah. So even I have explained about the virtual scaling and or vertical scaling, right? Horizontal and vertical scaling. So what is the horizontal scaling? In horizontal scaling only you are going to get the 99.99%. In the vertical scaling, you are supposed to make them system down and up and running. But vertical scaling is so much expensive. There is no perfection which is 100%. It's like you are going to make your system design the resilience. Resilience means there should be not a single point of failure. What do you mean by single point of failure? Any idea, guys? What do you mean by single point of failure? No idea? Okay, let me tell you. Okay, single point of failure means you have designed your system due to a single issue. Maybe I am talking about some networking, yeah? So you have established the network between your on-premises data center to the cloud data center. And that network has been disturbed due to digging up on the roads, right? You are saying that cables are sitting on the roads, that is direct connect kind of stuff, yeah? Your maybe data center is getting down. So what we are trying to maintain, we are trying to maintain the redundancy. Redundancy means if one particular switch will go down, particular router will go down, particular connection will go down, then there should not be the problem to you, right? You will have the redundant connection. So such kind of things will comes under the no single point of failure where you are going to maintain the redundancy. Then, but one of the thing you need to keep in your mind to make your system highly available, you are going to spend huge amount of money. Okay, if your application is not mission critical, you can go for other things. But in the real life, if I talk about the high availability, that is going to be possible from the redundancy only. I mean, same kind of things you need to maintain 2 or 3 times, right? That we are able to see it as part of availability zone. What exactly things are there in availability zone? Your application residing in each and every data center. If any particular data center goes down, it will be accessed from rest of the 2 data centers. So I explained about the load balancers also. Whenever the traffic coming into the picture, so traffic, suppose 100% traffic is there, there are 3 virtual machines are available in 3 different availability zone. So what is going to be happen? The traffic is going to be distributed between the availability zone. So each and every machine is going to get 33.33% traffic. So such kind of things is going to help us out to maintain the high availability. And here we are talking about the high availability, means there is no single point of failure. So I'm not keeping my machine into the particular availability zone. I'm keeping my machine in 3 availability zone. Minimum 3 availability zone will be there. In this case, I can have my application up and running most of the time. So there will be no single point of failure. If application deployed for the single availability zone, then there will be single point of failure. But if application has been deployed in couple of availability zone, there will not be single point of failure. Even we have seen in case of availability set, we are establishing the connectivity between the racks, right? That is comes under the availability set. Srishti, if you have any doubt, you can let me know. Even I will give you the videos. You can refer to it. If you are still facing the issue, then we can discuss about it again and again. I hope so. You are not aware about
Okay.
the availability zone, availability set. Okay, that is need to be understood actually.
Yeah, I
So,
just yeah. Actually,
hmm,
yesterday you shared the PPT. I just went through it.
hmm, 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 hmm.
So uh,
Any idea about the availability set?
like I just came to know like availability sets is like when
Hmm.
virtual machines are grouped together. Like, is
Okay,
it that the case?
okay, but how exactly they are grouped together within availability zone or means across the availability zone?
Within the availability zone,
Okay, so between the data centers or like between the racks or within a same rack?
within the same rack.
No, between means not in the same rack only. Combination of rack is going to be happen. Baba, can you please let me know because I explained you thoroughly. So can you please explain a little bit about availability set?
Availability set is under availability zones.
Okay.
Availability zones, that is a server, and availability set is um,
Mm-hmm.
you can say it's like uh,
Combination of racks, right? So
combination of
one
racks.
particular combination or where one virtual machine is sitting in the one
Yeah,
rack, another virtual machine is sitting in another rack,
another
right? So
another
if
rack.
entire yeah, so if entire one rack will goes down, no problem at all. You have another copy of your virtual machine or application in the separate rack. What do you mean by rack? I hope so you are aware about that. Say rack is nothing but the kind of you can say the home
Where we
racks,
can
but
say our
yeah,
servers. Yeah,
yeah,
install servers.
yeah. So there are 20 servers installed as part of the single rack. Yeah, that kind of combination I explained previously. No problem at all. We will look into it. Yeah, let's proceed. Okay, question number 11, please.
Yeah. Azure services can go through several phases in service life cycle. What are the three phases called?
Yeah, guys. Yesterday we discussed about it. Yeah, Azure services are phase means go through the
First,
phases. Yeah. So what are those phases? Tell me, guys.
private, public, and general availability.
Yeah, right, right. Right,
In
right,
general,
right. So what do you mean by private preview? What do you mean by public preview? And what do you mean general availability? So I just telling you, the private preview is specific to the users. Microsoft will allow you if you're going to request for the private preview. But private preview having all the just features, new features, okay, very new features, and those are not the stable features. And you cannot expect the same kind of feature which was previewed as part of the private will be continue for the public. Okay, then more improvement will come to the public preview again. But you may identify that some of the features was there in private will not be the part of the public preview. As part of public and private preview, there is no SLA because those are just for the preview purpose. So if I will explain you in terms of the testing, in terms of the real-time scenario, you can understand the private preview. So suppose you are working in a Nokia company and Nokia company have developed some small mobile or something, whatever they develop the product of the mobile. If they have distributed among the company employees and they are testing the mobile, how mobile is working, what's supposed to be there, how supposed to be there. They provided all that kind of feedback, internal thing. So that is comes under the private preview. Okay, any kind of testing is about the testing only. So this is known as the alpha testing. You may heard about it, right? Alpha testing. Then come to the beta testing. What do you mean by beta testing? You have seen like nowadays, like you having the ROMs. What kind of ROMs? You having the Android mobile, right? So Android mobile having the ROMs available. So right now Android 12 came into the picture. Now some people would like to try the Android 12. Okay. So some of the beta versions of the Android 12s are available into the market, but they are simply saying this thing. If you are going to install the beta version, that is can be the problematic for you. Maybe some features will not work properly. Okay. Some of the hardware problem may also you can face due to you are using the software which is not that much stable enough, like you are installing some beta version of the Android 12. So that which comes under the beta testing. But right now, if you see, as part of your mobile, you're having what kind of OS, that is Android 11. So which is a stable one if your device is that much capable enough to deal with the what to say, deal with the OS. So right now, if you will install the OS which is given by the company, okay, which you are getting the updates by default, you are not installing any private or public preview. Your hardware will be safe, your software will be safe, most of the features is going to work out. The same kind of situation is going to be happen in terms of the cloud also. Okay, they are going to provide the SLA in the general availability only. So I hope so you can interrelate alpha testing, beta testing, and real time testing. Okay, that is going to be happen for the product. Yeah. Now end users are providing the previews. Like I have purchased the new mobile, I am providing the preview of that mobile. But before I purchased the mobile was provided for the some company organization people. Then it has been provided for some outsiders, and then it's provided to the end customer. So like this, you can understand the thing. Yeah, you can interrelate three things I clearly explained you in terms of private preview. You can keep the you are testing the mobile within our organization. In the public preview, you can think about the beta Android OS. In the general availability, you can think about the you have the stable Android OS which are available into the market for using purpose. Yeah, let's proceed. Question number 12, please.
Which Azure website tool is available for you to estimate the future cost of your Azure products and
Mm-hmm.
services by adding product to a shopping basket and helping you calculate the cost?
Yeah. So guys, what could be the options here? We have seen Azure Advisor, pricing calculator, and Microsoft Docs. What should be the thing for calculating the things? Yeah. What should be the
Azure
option?
pricing
Azure
calculator.
Advisor.
Right. Pricing calculator only. Perfectly. So what is the pricing calculator? Suppose I'm the person who would like to look into the Azure services. Okay. I'm not planning anything as of now. Actually, there are 3 to 4 kind of similar services are there right now as part of this question. You have not been confused, but there are 3 to 4 kind of services are there where you are going to migrate towards the cloud. So estimation over the OPEX also going to be happen, but here you are just estimating in terms of the CAPEX only as of now. Okay, you're thinking about the CAPEX, not about the OPEX. So migration part, all these things, but as of now, for your understanding that you are going to see the pricing model as part of the fourth module. That is very important because there are 3 to 4 kind of similar services are there, but some services are including CAPEX plus OPEX plus migration. Some services are just to find out the products and their price and their utility, right? So that kind of thing, like you are doing some online shopping, the same kind of you will find out one website where you can simply calculate the cost of the things, yeah, and you are going to use it, yeah. So it's like not an entire combination of capex plus opex, but it's a normal thing what you are going to charge, right? So I can talk about like it is you are going to seek, like if you are going to use the Ubuntu or any kind of operating system. So this OS is going to charge you for $20 per month, something, yeah. So monthly basis things are going to happen, but it's not a combination of capex plus opex. It may be the it is going to show you any one of the field, which is possibly the OPEX only, not the CAPEX. Yeah. So a CAPEX kind of thing you will understand once you will migrate the thing. We have another service which is going to help you all to understand the things. As of now, you can understand that's the very simple question, and you are trying to understand this how much it will be helpful for you if you are going to use the Azure. Yeah. Let's proceed. I'm going to explain about it once it's available. Question number 13, please.
Yeah, what are Azure availability zones?
Mm-hmm. Okay. What are the availability on yesterday we seen? Tell me answer, guys. Mm,
First one, a feature of Azure that allow you manually specific into data
mm.
center your virtual machine or page which allow you to achieve higher availability than any other.
Yeah. So you have to focus like if you option look into the third option, it's saying within a data center and not this is not the within a data center. It's like a which data means you are having the couple of data centers here. So even you would like to distinguish, you can distinguish about the rack servers. I was talking about the what do you mean by availability set? The availability set you can understand. Like the combination is going to be happen between the racks, right? That is the availability set. This is the availability zone. So answer is correctly the very first one only. Yeah. Let's proceed. Okay, question please.
Can you give someone else access to your Azure subscription without giving them your username and password?
Yeah, what should be the answer, guys?
Yes.
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 Yes. So you can have the
Yes.
you can give the permission to them using the Azure subscriptions. Yeah. So there is no only one way to give the username and password. I just explained you. Like there are some other kind of facilities also there. With the help of that, you can provide the permission to them to access the resources. Right. Let's proceed. Question number 15,
Yeah.
please.
What type of container is used to collect log and metric data from various Azure resources?
Yeah.
Log analytics works.
Log analytics workspace.
Workspace, yeah. Log analytics
Yeah.
workspace, yeah. So we are doing some analysis, guys. One of the thing you have observed, whenever you are applying some vocabulary kind of interrelativity, yeah. So only one or two questions are being wrong, but rest of the questions are being correct. There is no problem at all if you're trying to understand the question and trying to identify the terminologies, right? And you are able to see the same kind of options. So 90% of case it will be similar, but sometimes you have to focus more on the question side, if what exactly it's looking for. If some analytics, then it may be the HD element kind of thing, right? We have seen inside HD inside. So no problem at all. If one or two questions wrong is also possible because you having the 1000 marks out of 1000, you are supposed to have the 700 marks only. Okay. But I can say you the way you are answering, it can be easily 900 plus marks. Okay. That's probably. Question number 16, please.
A virtual machine is called what type of hosting model?
Yeah, virtual machine called what kind
First
of hosting
one.
model? Infrastructure
First
as a
one.
service,
IIS.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
IaaS. Perfect. Hmm. 17,
What
please.
what feature within Azure will make recommendations to you about reducing cost on your account?
Yeah,
That Azure
recommendations.
Advisor.
Yeah, perfect. Recommendations,
Yeah.
right? Azure Advisor. What kind of recommendation? Recommendation related to the cost, related to the security, related to the performance, right? All those things we have seen yesterday. Okay. Which of the following is something that Azure Cognitive Services API can currently do? So I explained you cognitive services means related to the AI kind of stuff. Yeah. What should be the answer, guys?
All
Yesterday we
of the or like
all
All
all of
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 the
these.
yeah, all of these. Azure can do it. Like what is the things here? Like translation of the languages from one language to another language. Like we have seen the Google Translator. Okay, we can see like text can be converted into realistic speech. Okay, we also have seen how exactly text can be converted from the audio. Okay, we can recognize the face from the pictures, or we can recognize the text within an image. All those kind of things comes under the Azure Cognitive Services. Yeah, let's proceed for the 19 number question.
which Azure service contains pre-built machine learning models that you can use in your own code using an API.
Yeah, now answer me, guys. I'll read it.
Function, Azure functions.
No, it's read the question properly. It's saying machine learning mechanism. What it comes under the
Cognitive
machine?
Cognitive
services.
services.
Right, cognitive services. Yeah. You have to focus on the question. You will answer two. If you read two times, three times, you will get the answer clearly. Yeah. Okay, perfect answer. Cognitive services only. Yeah, machine learning. What is the machine learning we have seen? Na? We like you can read the things, right? You can have the speech recognition, vision recognition. Those things comes under the machine learning. Yeah. Okay. Question number 20, please.
Yeah, what type of resources are defined as a compute resources?
Yeah, guys. So all resources that are listed in the Azure Marketplace, I don't think so. We have three categories of the resources. What are the three categories? Computing there, networking there, storage there, right? So first answer is wrong. What is the second answer? Resources that platform some type of task that requires CPU cycle to perform the work, or only virtual machine. Tell me, guys, what should be the answer?
Second one.
Second one only, right? CPU, because we are getting the computing resource as what? Virtual machine also, containers also, functions also, right? Scalable set also. We have seen the Azure Fabric service also, right? All those things we have seen. So CPU utilization cycle, not only the virtual machine. So we have couple of things. I hope so you can understand, right? Containers, I was discussing about the serverless computing, or I will discuss about the containerized service or the virtual machine. So those things will come under the those categories. Those services comes under that category. Next question number 21, please.
What is the main management tool used for managing Azure resources with a graphical user interface?
Yeah, guys, graphical user interface. What is the tool? We have a discussion yesterday.
Azure portal.
Azure portal only. Yeah, everything will be there as part of the Azure portal. Even as part of the Azure portal, there will be Azure CLI. Okay, Direct Console is available to deal with the things. Okay, fine. 22, please.
What Azure tool gives you the ability to manage multiple subscription into nested hierarchies?
Yeah. So on top of the subscription, what kind of thing is available?
Management
And
groups.
Management groups. Yeah. Yeah. So you can have couple of subscription as part of the single Azure account, but those subscriptions are going to be managed by the management group. Yeah. So answer will be the management group. Okay. Question number 23rd, please.
Yeah, what is DDoS attack?
Yeah, guys, answer me. I already explained about it. If you know the full form of DDoS, you can simply answer me.
First
What is the
one,
first
First
one
one.
only? Denial of service.
first,
Yeah. Yeah. Attack the send some traffic, so much traffic to the network so that you cannot respond fast enough. Legitimate user become unable to use the service, right? This is the I was explaining the Flipkart website dummy traffic coming. They would like to crash the server. If servers are not being crashed, if you have this capable capability you have using the elasticity, then in that case it can become the slow because traffic is increasing drastically, right? So that is the correct answer. Distributed denial of services. Okay, question number 24, please.
what feature of a system makes it elastic?
Yeah, guys. So tell me, I already explained you about it.
Or
Elastic.
the first one,
first one.
ability to increase and
Yeah.
reduce.
Yeah. So I explained about the elasticity and the auto scaling. Elasticity is going to help you out to increase and decrease the capability as per the requirement, right? As per the user demand. But the scalability is only increasing, not decreasing. So elasticity is good for me whenever my website having 10,000 customers, that much computing resource need to be utilized. Whenever my website having 1 lakh customer, that kind of computing should be utilized. My resources should not be ideal. My CPU should not be ideal, right? So that is the elasticity. Okay. Question 25, please.
What is the name of Azure hosted SQL database server? Sorry,
Yeah.
service.
Cosmos DB.
No, it's
Cosmos
asking
DB.
SQL. Cosmos DB is no SQL actually.
Okay.
Azure SQL database.
Azure
Azure
database.
SQL
Azure
database,
SQL
right?
database.
Uh,
Yeah.
Cosmos DB is the no SQL database, right? So means Azure SQL database is RDMS, Relational Database Object, right? But this is no SQL. You may heard about SQL and no SQL DBs. So answer can be SQL, Cosmos DB. Once it will say no SQL kind of database, right? But SQL database means Azure SQL database. Yeah. Let's proceed. Question number 26, please.
Which phase does the Azure Resource Manager model
Mhm.
provide to deploy resources?
Yeah, guys. So I don't think so you know about it, but let me explain about it. Which base does the Azure Source Manager model provide to deploy the sources? So you can deploy the sources using Azure portal. You can deploy the sources using CLI. Okay. You can deploy the sources using REST API. Also, you can deploy the sources using PowerShell. All four are correct here. Okay. So what do you mean by Azure Sources deployment? You having the application you are supposed to deploy. So you can deploy from the CLI, you can deploy from the PowerShell. PowerShell is specific to the Windows, CLI is specific to the Azure portal. Okay. Azure portal also having the graphical UI with the alphabet, or you will have the REST API endpoints, or we can do software development kit, which is going to help you out to deploy the source. So all four ways are there to deploy your sources, nothing but your application over the cloud. Yeah. 27th, please.
True or false? You
Mhm.
cannot have more than one Azure subscription per company.
Yeah.
It's false.
It's false. We can have
False.
couple of subscription, yeah. So as part of the single company, you can have so many people, right? Developers, testers, administrators, networking. So each and every person can have their own subscription. Yeah. Why exactly we having the subscription concept? Why each and every team we are managing the subscription? We would like to find out who is consuming more. Okay. If developers are consuming more, or who has the fault, how its resources are being utilized in proper way. So we need to identify. We cannot simply believe on any one of them or are capable enough. So we would like to distribute the consumption. Anyhow, anyway, company is going to pay for all those things, but they need to identify they are using the resource in a proper way or not. Okay, who is wasting the resources? Who is responsible for all this nonsense? You have seen. So that's why we are having separate kind of subscription. That is the part of again fourth module that we are going to discuss about it. Yeah, I'm going to give you much more detail how the Azure subscriptions are providing the granular control over the resources. Yeah. Okay. Question number 28, please.
True or false? Formal support is not included in private preview mode.
Yeah. Tell me any is not supported. Formal support. What do you mean by formal or what do you mean by professional? Formal is normal formality, right? It's not supported. So it's supported or not supported? Tell me. I already explained you the private preview. Okay. If something goes wrong, anybody is going to help you.
Not supported.
Hmm?
No.
No, yeah. So not supported means true. So nobody is going to help you out for the private preview. Okay. You got the visibility? You're not
Yeah.
going to get help. You're not going to get any kind of SLA. Okay. Question number 29, please.
What is the basic way of protecting an Azure Virtual Network subnet?
Yeah. So you would like to, first of all, you need to understand what do you mean by subnet. So subnet is nothing but the kind of categories you are classifying your sources within a VPC, right? You have the VPC, virtual private cloud. As part of VPC, you can be have the public subnet, you can be have the private subnet, but you would like to protect them. How exactly you can protect them? You are going to have the different kind of facilities. With the help of that, you can protect them. But it's clear cut saying you would like to protect the way of protecting the Azure virtual network subnet. So it's virtual
Uh,
network subnet is talking. Yeah, can you please let me know what should be the answer?
Azure Firewall.
No, that firewall is for the external traffic to control, right? Your it's terminology clear cut can
Network security group.
right, network security group. Yeah, this is the answer. So, like network security groups are the fairly, okay, the basic set of rules that can be applied for both inbound and outbound traffic. You know, right? There is a security group having the inbound and outbound traffic. What traffic need to be allowed, what traffic not need to be allowed, right? And it you can specify for what kind of source you would like to go, for what destination you would like to go, what kind of port need to be allowed, what kind of port, no need to be allowed. Yeah, they are stateful. So stateful means if you allow the inbound rule, automatically outbound rule will be allowed. So those are the security groups. I will explain about the networking and the NACL network access control list about the security groups as part of the third chapter, third module. We are going to see what is the actual difference. So security groups can have only allow rules. It is not going to have the deny rules. So deny rules will be the part of the NACL. So the first point of protection you are going to get as part of Azure Firewall, then your NACL, then your security group. Security groups are working on the instance level, okay, or NACL is working on the subnet level. No problem at all. Whatever I'm telling you, maybe not able to gather it out. No issues at all. You have the recordings. Once you will complete all four modules, you can simply go through it and you will understand the things much more better way. You will be able to interconnect them at all. Yeah, let's proceed. 30 number question, please.
True or false? Azure still has some responsibilities to manage the hardware even in the infrastructure as a service model.
Yeah, tell me guys, yesterday we have
So
seen this question. So, right?
yeah, it
So
was true.
even hardware is supposed to be maintained by whom? Azure only, right? So hardware will be maintained by the Azure only. So Azure still have some responsibility to manage the hardware even in the infrastructure as a service model. So maybe as Vaibhav most of time say on premises or the Azure data center, even it's anywhere will be there, but still Azure need to be help you out to deal with the hardware failure. Yeah, if anything goes wrong in that case. Okay, question number 31, please.
True or false? Azure is a public cloud and has no private cloud offering. False.
Yeah, false. Yeah.
False.
Yeah.
False, yeah. So I explained couple of times each and every time. Beva was saying to me, like, lucky there is no private cloud provided by the Azure, so not like this. Azure or any cloud vendor, it may be AWS or GCP, all are providing three flavors of cloud. What are the three flavors of cloud? Private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud. Yeah,
Hybrid.
yeah. All three kind of cloud is being supported by the Azure. 32 question, please.
Which Azure service is meant to be a security dashboard that contains all the security and threat protection in one place?
Yeah. Security dashboard. Where the security
Azure
dashboard?
Security Center.
Yeah, Azure Security Center only. You are going to have the dashboard. What do you mean by dashboard? Like at a if I'm clicking here, this is what? This is kind of dashboard only, right?
Hmm.
If you see, this is the kind of dashboard. So you are in any specific thing. I'm in the home button. Okay, that's why I'm in the start button. So that's why I'm able to see the dashboard. The same kind of dashboard you will apply, or you will see for the security purpose inside the security center. Yeah, in the one place. So this is the answer. Okay, question number 33, please.
Who is responsible for the security of physical servers in
Mm.
an Azure data center?
Yeah, yeah. Physical server. Who is responsible? Tell me, guys. You are
Azure
responsible?
Azure.
no, Azure.
Azure, yeah, yeah. You are not going to the Azure data center and doing the protection, right? Not like this. Azure is responsible for it, right? So they having their own setup to do the physical protection. Nobody can enter inside the Azure data center until and unless they are the authorized person to allow inside the data centers. Okay. Question number 34, please.
Yeah. Which feature within Azure collects all the logs from various resources into a central dashboard where
Mm-hmm.
you can run queries, weave graphs, and create alerts on certain events?
Yeah. So if we focus on the question need to be understood first of all. Which feature within Azure collect all the logs from the various resources into the central dashboard? Okay. Where you can run the queries, view the graphs, and create the alerts on the certain events. Tell me, guys, what should be the answer here? Who is doing the monitoring here? It's monitoring only, right? Checking everything, looking everything. Okay, for any kind
Yeah.
of event, servers are going up or coming down, or extra servers are
Azure
how
Monitor.
Azure monitor only, right? We are
Hmm.
going to see like the server utilizing 80% CPU or 30% CPU, right? All those things. Who come from where you are going to get? You are going to get from the Azure monitor, right? Guys, are
So,
you?
Lucky, one
Yes.
question like, what
Hmm.
is Event Hub then?
Event hub is like you can have the event for some particular activities. You can schedule from your side. What kind of event? Let me tell you. Like suppose you are going to have some maintenance over your availability zone or over your data center. You can you can configure the event. Okay, our servers will be down for the certain amount of time. Okay, you can have that event. You can configure the event whenever your CPU utilization is more than 80%. Okay, so such kind of thing where you would like to
Mhm.
get alerts, those kind of alerts is possible based on the event. Suppose some particular DB goes down, okay, or some particular availability zone is totally down, something goes wrong. In that case, you are going to configure the events. Even the event hub is also going to help you out to identify which particular region is having the issues or not having the issues. So that is the event hub. You are going to configure your event. The event is also related to the storage, can be also related to your networking, can be related to your compute. So whenever you are configuring the event, that will go under the event hub. Okay. Hub means one place where
Okay.
you're going to do that thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
35 question, please.
Which feature of Azure Active Directory will require user to have their mobile phone in order to be able to log in?
Yeah,
That
right.
was
That's that is
multi-factor authentication.
multi-factor
Multi-factor.
authentication. Yeah, yeah. So you're not supposed to allow to enter into the system by simply providing the username and password. You are supposed to be authenticated based on the some extra OTPs or maybe from the some authenticator app which is generating the temporary OTP for 1 minute of time. So that kind of thing comes under the multi-factor authentication. Yeah. Okay. Question number 36, please.
What is single sign-on?
Single sign-on. So very simple thing. I don't think so you guys are aware. If you are working in the IT industry, definitely you may be aware about it. Single sign-on, nothing but you have single pair of username and password, and that kind of combination is going to help you out to log into each and every service. If you are working as a developer, you can identify if you have ever used the Atlassian products, okay, or you are working for any banking client, so you have observed if you log into the portal or any company portal, then you can access the emails also, you can access your other feed services also, like looking into the salaries, looking into the performance, looking into the applying for the income tax declaration, right? Or when exactly your pay slip is going to come. So each and every service, whatever available as part of your what to say website or portal. So you are having the single pair of username password. If you enter somewhere, then it is automatically going to sync, or you have to enter the same kind of username password. No need to have each and every time different username password. I can give you the example. Like if you have logged into the Gmail, at the same time you can switch towards the Google Drive. At the same time you can switch towards the YouTube. You are not supposed to be logging each and every time for each and every website, but that can be possible whenever you are not using the same kind of website for a long time. Yeah. So that kind of thing is you will observe as part of single sign-on. You are supposed to enter the same kind of username password. Suppose you are logging directly to the Google Drive. You are not supposed to have the separate credential for the Google Drive. Okay, if you would like to directly log into the Google Drive, you are supposed to enter the credential. So that things comes under the single sign-on. Okay. So can you please answer me the question? What should be the answer?
Yeah, it should be first one.
Yeah, ability to
First
use the
one.
existing
First
username,
one.
user ID and password to sign into the other application, not to have create memorize a new one. Yeah, so this is the single sign-on. 37, please.
What benefit does a content delivery network CTN provide to its user?
Yeah, content delivery network. Like I told you, such kind of application where the performance need to be very high, like streaming applications, Netflix, Amazon Prime, such kind of video streaming, YouTube, I can say. In terms of the gaming applications where you are supposed to play the game, all the things need to be loaded, all the connectivity need to be there, right? If you don't have internet connection, you cannot play the game. Even game installed like 2 to 3 GB heavy game has been installed as part of your system as well, but still is retrieving all the information on the network edges side. So that I explained yesterday. What should be the answer, guys, for this?
Third one. Third one.
Third one? Yeah, third one should be the answer. Allow you to reduce the traffic coming into the web server for the static and unchanging files such as images, videos, and PDFs, right? So where the things are there which need to be have high performance, which need to deliver some content, it comes under the content delivery network. For the visibility, anybody having any question here?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So, Satish, sorry, Sashti. Fine.
Yeah, like
Okay, let's proceed. I'm just giving you the background information. Okay. Okay. Read the
Yeah.
question, please.
One of the benefits of the cloud is agility. What does that mean in the context of the cloud?
Okay. Yeah. One of the benefit of the cloud is agility. Okay, I already explained about the agility. What do you mean by agility? What does that mean in the context of the cloud? Tell me, guys. So the ability to spin up the new sources within a minute? I don't think so. Ability to respond to and drive market change quickly, or ability to system to grow and the capacity. What should be the answer, guys?
Uh,
Second one.
Second one only. Perfect. Yeah. Vaibhav, right? Vaibhav, you are right. You are
Yes.
right. Yeah, yeah, correct. Correct. So ability to respond to drive and the market change quickly. Like whatever the new services you are looking for, you are supposed to provide those services, right? You're looking for some new features, you're looking for some new requirements or new kind of tools. All those things should be available. If there is Kubernetes, which is very famous enough into the market for the containerization, so there should be Kubernetes services as part of Azure. You can't say I don't have those services. So those things need to be all the services which are up to date, which are into the market, which are demanding should be the part of the cloud. That is nothing but the agility, the ability to change. Yeah. Okay. Question number 39, please.
which of the following is a feature of the cool access tier for Azure storage?
Yeah, Azure storage. What is the following is a feature of cool access tier? Cool access tier for the Azure storage. So like I already explained yesterday. Okay. So even you are
First,
using the, yeah, which one?
first one.
First one, yeah, much cheaper store file than the hot access storage. So there are cool access storage, there is hottest access storage. So definitely cool access storage is just like a free kind of subscription, but it's not a free. You are going to take the subscription, but you are having the tier. Okay, tier is different kind of tiers we have it. So as of now, we are discussing about the hot and cold tier, and definitely cold tier will having less expensive system to access it, right? So if you are going to store the files, it should be much more cheaper and compared to the hot storage. So answer will be the very first one. Correct answer.
An IT administrator has the requirements to control access to a specific app resource using multi-factor authentication. What Azure service satisfy this requirement?
Okay, yeah. So yesterday we also seen this kind of
Azure AD.
questions.
Azure authentication.
No, no.
Azure AD.
Azure authentication.
AD, AD,
Active
AD.
Directory. Yeah, Azure Active Directory.
Yeah.
So Azure Active Directory is going to help you out to control the access, yeah, for your application resources, okay, based on the business requirement. We have seen this thing, right? And you can also use the multi-factor kind of authentication when accessing the multiple resource and importing the source, right? So that is the AG. You need to understand. It's not Azure authorization. It's a Azure Active Directory, AD, honest, yeah? Okay. No problem. If you're referring to the terminology, you may think about Azure authorization, but there is no such kind of thing. Okay, there is only Azure Active Directory. You can see as authorization, authentication, Azure function. No, this is the thing. Yeah. Okay, question number 41, please.
Which Azure function is specifically designed to help companies get their in-house developed code from the code repository through automated unit testing and onto Azure using service called pipelines?
Yeah, pipelines kind of things will come
Azure
under what?
DevOps.
Azure
Azure.
DevOps. Yeah, DevOps only.
DevOps.
Perfect answer. 42, please.
Yeah, Outlook 365 is what type of hosting model?
Yeah,
Second,
SaaS.
yeah, software as a
yes.
service. Yeah, and
Hmm.
product. Okay. Question 43, please.
Which of the following methods of deploying a virtual machine provides the highest availability SLA?
Highest availability SLA. Who can provide?
Availability zones.
Availability zone is the correct. Yeah. So which one? Very first one or which one?
Second one.
Second one?
Second.
Second one, yeah. Two or more machines across the availability zone in the same region, right? Okay. So same region or across the region?
In same region.
The same region. Availability.
Across.
No. Availability zone are not there in across the means there are so many regions are there, but you are supposed to work with a single region. Inside the single region only, you are going to have couple of availability zones, right? What do you mean by couple of availability
Okay.
zone? 3 availability zone. Who is this? Sashti.
Yeah.
Okay. I think so. You have not gone through the idea about the availability zone regions. So there are geographic locations. What are the 5 geographic locations, guys?
Let's
Region.
API specific.
Okay.
Europe,
Europe,
European,
hmm,
US,
hmm,
America, and
Americas, yeah, and Saudi,
Africa. No.
Saudi Arabia. No,
Okay.
Africa.
Saudi,
Okay.
yeah, Saudi countries. Yeah. Why is so much background noise is there? Have you joined from 2 devices? Better to join from 1 device only because such kind of voice will be there once you don't join from 2 devices. 44 question, please.
Yeah. Which major cloud provider offers the most international locations for customers to provision virtual machines and other servers?
Azure,
Yeah, Azure.
Yeah,
Microsoft.
Microsoft Azure.
Azure.
Yeah, they are providing, they are advertising their one only. Yeah, 45, please.
What is the most number of virtual machines that can be managed under a single virtual machine skill set?
Skill sets. So I was
Yeah.
just talking about the skill set. Yeah. So what is the most number of virtual machine that can be managed under a single virtual machine skill set? It's one kind of service we have seen as part of the computing. So whenever we would like to create the same kind of virtual machine in a one go, okay? So how much can be created? Thousands of virtual machine can be created in one go. Same kind of virtual machine. Yeah. Answer will be the 1,000. Up to 1,000 virtual machine can be created in a single virtual machine, yeah, skill set. So you are going to use this in and you are with the help of this service, you can get 1,000 similar kind of virtual machine in a one go. Yeah. No need to create 1,000 virtual machine one by one. Okay. Question number 46, please.
What is the default amount of credits that you are given when you first create an Azure free account?
Yeah.
$200.
US dollar 200.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Perfect. 47, please.
What is the Azure Preferred Identity Authentication Service?
Yeah.
Azure
Azure.
Active Directory.
Second.
Yeah, Azure Active Directory, AD, that is for authentication. Azure Active Directory is so much famous Across, if there is a cross, means as part of my company also, there is cross cloud. Cross cloud means they are using both kind of cloud. They are using Azure also, they are using AWS also. But Azure Active Directory is very famous in the authentication and authorization purpose. That's why even in case of the other clouds also, they are using such kind of third-party services to have the authentication. Yes, Azure Active Directory is the correct answer. Okay. 48 question, please.
True or false? There are no service level guarantees (SLA) when a service is in general availability.
Yeah, what
False.
should be the answer? What should be the answer, guys?
False.
False.
False only, right? You are getting the SLA as part of the general availability. 49 question, please.
Yeah. Which tool within Azure helps you to track your compliance with various international standard and government laws?
Yeah,
First
what
one, compliance
first one?
manager.
Compliance
Compliance
manager.
manager. Yeah, correct answer. Question number 50, please.
If you wanted to simply use Azure as an extension of your own data center, not
Hmm.
primarily hosting anything there, but using it for extra storage or taking advantage of some services, what
Hmm.
hosting model is that called?
Yeah, so you are staying in two data center, on data center and Azure data center also. Tell me what is this?
Hybrid, hybrid cloud.
Hybrid. Yeah. Wherever you do remember, I was explaining, not only in one, right? You wanted to simply
Yeah.
use the Azure as an extension of your existing on data center, not the primary using the hosting
Hmm.
and this, okay, done. Finish the test. What is the percentage? 100% correct. Each and every answer is correct. Are you able to see? 50 out of 50 is correct. So yeah, what is the advantage of the Udemy right now? If you see, I have given the answer, but definitely I am supposed to know why I'm choosing this answer. Even you know also, better you read the description or explanation, which is saying the serverless model of the compute remove all the responsibility of selecting or even managing the servers. Okay, and make the Azure responsible for running the code, including. What do you mean by managing the server? Like you are supposed to create the virtual machine, you are supposed to update the virtual machine, you are supposed to have the scalability, you are supposed to have the high availability. All those things need to be done from your side, and you don't want to deal with those things. That is going to be help for the serverless model. If you click on this link, this is the official website of the Microsoft, from where you will get much more detail about the Azure serverless. So this is the advantage here. If you are reading the things in a proper way, if you're learning the things in a proper way, you will get to know, right? How exactly things are working, Azure functions, how exactly working in the serverless, what is the environment, okay? How exactly solutions are being provided there, okay? How exactly CI/CD containers are working. So every information is available. So this is the advantage you're having as part of the Azure, okay? So this is the thing you are going to get as part of the Udemy. So each and every practice paper, you are going to see the questions, your answers. You can go through the detailed review and you can go through the links and you can get the much more visibility about it, right? Question number 2 also we are seeing, like remove the policy. So you can also see you cannot perform a task that violates the policy. You can have to remove the policy in order to perform the task. If you click on this link, definitely you are going to see a with yeah kind of thing. You can see what is Azure policy. Okay, how exactly people are working. So you can see the Azure policy help you to enforce the organization standards and access the compliance at scale. So it's compliance dashboard. It provides you an aggregated view to evaluate overall state of the environment with the ability to drill down as per resource per policy guarantee. Okay, it is help you to bring the resources to the compliance through the bulk remediation, okay, for the existing resources and automatic remediation for the new resources. So each and everything you can see here, there is no problem at all to understand anything. Okay, this is the advantage of the Udemy practice paper. Yeah, you will not have single wrong answer. So if you would like to go to attend the interviews or you are going to go to attend your certification, if you are giving the wrong answer, then there is no use of going through the questions, right? So Udemy having all the correct answers. They have the justifications also. If you would like to understand some background story, simply click on the links and go through it. Yeah, got the visibility, so we can proceed further.